como no this doesn't get used to
So what I'm going to do is make the engagement is I'm going to give some examples of like just when I stress like there's 5 factors. So I give one example and say, if you want to add any examples from your own experience to share, so maybe people will get, not necessarily ask questions, but say what they've done. We'll get them. Because people are very shy about asking questions.
It's not a walk up that road. You're going to go tomorrow. We talked about these things that it feels amazing so fast. And about the bags. It's like this. Over 200 pounds in like 30 or 40 years. Hey,
but I have
they're good. But they were by the time I showed up,
we're good.
Hey guys, it's Mental Health Thursday here in the town of Miami Lakes. I'm joined by our town manager Ed Peterman and Councilman Luis Collazo with us today. We have some great clinicians that he's going to introduce in a couple seconds. There is some really great news. The positivity rate is way down in Dade County. I think the latest numbers today that just came out, we're at 9.65. 9.65. We've been under 10%. For over 48 hours, heading into 72 hours, which is amazing. That means we're going to be heading into a different phase very soon, but we got to keep the social distancing, make sure that you sanitize. But that is great news. Countywide, the positivity rate is plummeting, and that is due to your hard work here in the community throughout our county. A couple other numbers too, our hospital numbers. They're improving. There's still a lot of people in the hospital that we have to pray for. Actually, one of our great volunteers is currently in ICU, and we need to keep him in our prayers. That is so important. But those numbers overall in the ICU are improving. There's a huge trend of COVID patients being discharged on a daily basis, a lot more than are being admitted. Is one of our great volunteers. So even though these numbers are getting better, and hopefully we see the full reopening of our economy very soon, we have to make sure that we do what's right, because there are a lot of people in our communities that if they get COVID, they will end up in the hospital, in ICU, and one of those folks is one of our great volunteers. So please keep him and his family in. We also started to break through that stigma. I want to hand it over to our town manager, who's going to give you a more micro look into what's happening here in the town of Miami Lakes in regards to COVID-19. And also, we're going to talk about very little about the storm that we're monitoring, right? We don't know yet. We're saying here, just keep an eye on it, but just always make sure that you have your preparation. Batteries, flashlights, all that, but we are monitoring the storm, and I want to hand it over to our town manager, Ed Peterman, and then he's going to hand it over to Councilman Collazo.
Hey, Miami Lakers, I just wanted to give you an update as to where we stood with the numbers here in the town of Miami Lakes. In the report that's issued by the state that was put out this morning, the number in the town of Miami Lakes is in total, since the beginning of the pandemic, 1,680 tested positive for the coronavirus, dating all the way back to late February, early March. Obviously, we know that the great majority of these people were minimal or no symptoms. They have already gone through the entire episode, the 2-week period. They've already that we have 1,600 people currently with coronavirus right now is just in total since the beginning of the pandemic. I wanted to also touch real quickly, and then I'll turn it over to Councilmember Collazo, is about emergency management. There's two things I wanted to touch on. Number one is, if you've been watching the news, you know that there are 3 weather systems that are out there in the Atlantic. Right now, there's no need to panic. Obviously, it's just the time right now to make sure all of your preparations are in order, your personal plan. Make sure you have the necessary supplies to be able to sustain 5 to 7 days. Just keep an eye, we're going to be issuing updates, listen to your local news stations, keep an eye on the system, don't let it catch you by surprise, and that's all we have to do at this point, is just watch it. Even if it comes near us, it's not projected to be gone. So right now, all I ask is that you keep an eye on it. Yesterday, as a matter of fact, part of our emergency management plan, we've done in the past, you remember a year ago when Hurricane Dorian was threatening South Florida. One of our Great Miami Lakes residents, Renee Vivo, donated truckloads of sand, and we had a sanding operation at Royal Oaks Park. Well, we learned many lessons from that operation, and one of the things that we did, our logistics chief went out and that rapidly, dramatically increases the speed at which we fill up our sandbags. Yesterday, we did a trial run, we exercised it. We actually filled up over 200 bags of sand in 30 to 40 minutes. So we put some of that information on our social media. People thought, oh my God, what's going on? It was just a practice, it was a trial run, but we are ready. We have ready to go, a ready reserve of 200 bags. And in the event we get a storm that's coming close, we'll be able to deploy those bags as well as fill up more bags on the spot. So I wanted to turn it over now to Councilmember Collazo for Mental Health Thursday.
Thank you, Mr. Manager, and welcome Miami Lakers. My name is Luis Collazo, and it's a pleasure to be here. And that stigma with mental health and the town of Miami Lakes, and it's a pleasure to be here with you today. Today, I'm going to ask Rosie Barroso from the Therapy Labs to come on over, and she's going to help me introduce our special guest who has a wealth of information and knowledge, and is going to be speaking about a specific topic, which is in her area of expertise. Rosie.
Hi everyone, my name is Dr. So hello folks in Miami Lakes, it's nice to see you. I'm Dr. Lydia Malcolm, and I'm a clinical psychologist, and my emphasis is on health psychology. And I also, my emphasis is on positive psychology. So I'll tell you a little bit about that really quick and give you some tips that you can use right now in the middle of COVID. So we all know that we've been through a difficult time, and we're all in this together. There's no other time in our life where we've all been in the middle of the same situation, experiencing trauma, or people who are even watching it on TV or having friends and colleagues and so on suffering. But I think we've gotten a lot of great tips, and I've watched some of the things that we've all done on kind of the trouble that we're having and looking at anxiety and things like that. But I want to talk to you about post-traumatic growth. Do you want to get started?
Sure.
Bienvenidos, quiero hablar un poquito hoy sobre una psicóloga clínica con énfasis en la salud y la psicología positiva. Hemos sufrido todos juntos y ha sido traumático en distintos niveles para todos, pero quiero del crecimiento post-traumático. So post-traumatic stress means that even though on the one hand, there's pain and there's difficulty and there's loss and there's suffering, but at the same time we're experiencing that, we have the capacity to experience great growth. Así que de un lado tenemos sufrimiento y estamos pasando por una época muy difícil, pero del otro lado podemos crecer a la misma vez que estamos pasando esas cosas. So some of the areas that we grow in, there's 5 areas. One is the area of personal strength. So thinking about it, if you want to share with us on the feed, what are some personal strengths you found out? You might have found out you got a great talent for finding toilet paper. I didn't realize I could scavenge hunt that well. But there's some other things you found out that you can do without. De un lado, hemos encontrado fortalezas que no sabemos y todo, y quizás otras cosas que no se han dado cuenta que son nuevas fortalezas que han empezado a aprender a tener. The other thing is being and really embracing and strengthening our relationships. So new friendships, new ways, creative ways to stay in touch with people, looking out for each other. De otra manera, fortalecer nuestras relaciones con otras personas. Y quizás ya lo están haciendo, buscando maneras de ayudar al vecino, de estar en contacto con televisor, computadora. We can also grow in the area of finding new paths and possibilities. And some of you may be doing that. I have clients that their business was gone, and then they found a way to help the community with some COVID-related merchandise. Área de nuevas posibilidades, con personas que han empezado hasta negocios nuevos o han salvado sus negocios con ideas nuevas. The other thing is spirituality, whether that means religious faith, connecting with something that you haven't been connected to, or connected in nature. La otra parte es la espiritualidad, conectándose con su religión, si la tienen, o la naturaleza, cualquier cosa que lo inspire, que le inspire ese sentido de espiritualidad. And in the last situation that we're looking at is a deep appreciation for our lives, appreciation for the health that we do have, appreciation for the doctors and the people around us. Esa otra área es apreciar la gratitud por todo lo que tenemos, la salud que tenemos y las personas que nos rodean. Y una de las maneras que podemos ayudar a otros y combinar todo eso es buscar otras personas en la comunidad que necesitan ayuda. So one way we bring that all together is find people in the community that you might be able to help. You can share those strengths with. I'm sure that all of you have some examples and you might share them on the feed. You can keep a log or a journal. Pueden escribirlo en un diario. ¿Cómo he crecido durante esta época? Para poder balancear lo negativo con el que estamos aprendiendo. So being able to balance our challenges with these new skills and so on that we've learned. So I hope you take a minute to reflect, write that down. Quiero que piensen en eso un poquito. Y les deseo mucha salud.
This deep negative experience that we're going through also has a positive, and really focusing on that positive is therapeutic and it's beneficial. We get very caught up in what's our numbers, who's in the hospital, but being grateful for some of those things that we do have the opportunity to celebrate in life. The huge challenges are overcome, and they build resiliency and they build strength in us as individuals. And I think that's maybe one of the topics that we'll continue on maybe next week. Emotional resiliency and how we can continue to grow as a community through these adverse times. So thank you so much, Dr. Malcolm. I personally have a takeaway, and I'm sure our community is going to have a takeaway from what we talked about today. So thank you so much for being part of our Mental Health Thursdays. Yeah, thank you.
Love you, Miami Lakes. Quiero, mucho cariño.
So Miami Lakers, before we close Mental Health Thursday, I'm going to ask the mayor and the town manager to come on up for some final closing remarks. I do want to give a quick shout out before we sign off. I do want to congratulate, this is tooting our own horn, but I want to congratulate Cynthia Lejo and the town of Miami Lakes staff. Today they did a lunch and learn, they talked about mental health. So not only are we talking the talk, but walking the walk, and really want to congratulate our team who did a lunch and learn. Thank you Memorial Health who sponsored it, and I believe Giardino's, thank you so much for really embracing mental health. So Mayor?
Well, thank you, Councilman Collazo, for continuing being a leader, breaking through the stigma. We got to talk about this, and now more than ever, it's super accessible. So a lot of folks who are comfortable, maybe going into an office setting or whatnot, but this telehealth process that we're seeing is truly amazing. And you have great clinicians, great folks that are willing to help. So thank you very much for putting that together. Well, Miami Lakers, as you heard, Mental Health Thursdays are great folks here to help you. We'll keep an eye on that storm for you all. We'll see what happens, but just be prepared either way. Just for hurricane season overall. But the 5 o'clock advisory just came out. It's still moving in the same direction. Still not a tropical storm. I think it's a tropical depression at this point. But we'll keep an eye on it and just know that COVID is improving. The numbers are getting better, which is great news. We need to get back on our feet. We need to get folks back working. Just yesterday, the town council, on Tuesday, the town council talked about helping out families in our community. So people in the next week are going to have to make a tough decision. A lot of families, they're going to have to choose between going to work or staying home and taking care of their kids, making sure that they're learning. That's very difficult. So the town council said, hey, you know what? We got to do better. We have to offer solutions. So we worked with two programs, SNAP and the YMCA, to provide child care with counselors to help your kids learn during the day if you can't telecommute. So there are a lot of folks in our society that can't telecommute that need that help, and we're providing that here thanks to the town council and staff for working very hard on that. Just reach out to us here in town hall. We'll coordinate that for you all. Residente de la ciudad, gracias por estar con nosotros hoy. La discusión tan importante se tuvo hoy también. La tormenta esta en el Atlántico, no sabemos lo que va a pasar, pero estamos monitoreando eso en este momento. Pero al mismo las cosas están mejorando con el COVID, el coronavirus, las cosas sí se están mejorando, los números se están mejorando y tenemos que reabrir nuestra economía. Eso es una posición que ya el Consejo ha hablado con el condado sobre eso. Y ahora para el administrador, para cerrar hoy Mental Health Thursdays.
No, I just wanted to remind everybody that it's not anything to panic about. As the mayor said, all we have to do is just monitor, right? And if you have any preparations that you need to do at home or on a personal level, get them done early. The worst thing, and it also adds to the stress of the event, and sometimes that things are piling up. But what adds to the event is the scrambling that you may have to do at the last minute. If you're to have your home ready, get them done early. There are things that are not wasted. So just keep an eye on the storm. If there are any preparations you need to do them well in advance of the storm getting close, because they're usually things that you can do regardless of whether the storm comes this way or not.
So we're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter Periscope. Let's see if we got any questions. Clara, so anybody out there asking any questions, anything that they want to know, need some clarification, they want to talk to some of the clinicians, anything going on?
No questions at this time.
Got it. We don't see any questions, but make sure you reach out to us, 305-364-6100. As you can see, we're here for you. We'll keep working together to make sure we get through this pandemic.